the groaning city begins to lean in its flight like a wounded bird. The crash into the ground that marks the second fall of Undrentide is heard and felt throughout Faerun. Most folk will stop and wonder and never know how close Jorah is to dominating them through the sheer power of the long-buried past. Some, however, such as the Harpers, know well the part you played in Jorah's end. They name you a hero, and throughout the realms, songs are sung of the sacrifices that you and Drogon made for them all. As for your own fate after escaping into the Plane of Shadow, it is unknown, even to the Harpers. The slave collar shattered on Ashtara's death, so you are free. Wherever your adventures lead you, however, one thing is certain: your own tale is far from over.
So, that was Shadows of Undrentide. Yes. I think it's an okay campaign. It's not terrible, but it's not great either. There are a few interesting things that you might appreciate more if you've only experienced the original campaign. However, this is not. It's hard to find anything truly great about it. The plot itself, I don't think there's anything particularly wrong about it. It's just how it's implemented doesn't really leave you with any kind of lasting impression. We didn't have a huge amount of role-playing options, but at the same time there were some options here and there that allowed for, especially if you use your brain or explore a little bit, there are always easier ways to get through some tough spots. Dinah, the Tomb of Farar, the 10 golems. You can destroy the 10 golems in the Undrentide city, but at the same time you can hunt down the ring that disables them and just finish them off. Little things that at least there are other ways to do things. So again, this isn't bad by any means. It's just compared to a lot of other campaigns, compared to Hordes of Underdark or some custom campaigns, this just pales in comparison to the options and the implementation of the storyline. So this is in the awkward middle ground where you can't really shit on it and you can't really gush about how good it is. It's just fine. It's a good campaign to play, I suppose, if you just move from Undrentide to the Hordes of Underdark. It's more or less the same character study, because the Hordes of Underdark assumes that you've been in the Shadow Realm. It's not an important part of it, but it's a connection there. So character from one campaign can smoothly go to the other, and I think we were something like level 12, and Horde starts at 15. So a little bit in the middle where you get a few extra level ups and you're ready to go on the next campaign. So it's a nice pairing, I suppose. But I probably wouldn't play it that way, simply because there are a lot of good campaigns on the lower level and a lot fewer on the higher. But it's not hard to find a good campaign, better than Undrentide, that ends your character at a level of 10 plus something. So again, a fine campaign, but fairly unremarkable. When I think afterwards, I mean, not having played this game for maybe a couple of years even, Shadows of the Undrentide is the hardest for me to really recall anything about. I recall the goddamn Medusa, but that's about it. Nothing in the actual areas and things like that really stick with you. Underdark, Hordes of Underdark, there's a lot of moments and situations that can easily stick with you. Neverwinter Nights, again, at least the story will probably be something you'll remember. But again, that's another weaker campaign. But yeah, probably will be playing some custom campaigns because it's really hard to get why someone would really care about Neverwinter Nights unless they've played through some custom campaigns. Not saying these are the campaigns the game offers are bad, especially the Underdark starts to shine at least somewhat, but the custom campaigns are the things that kept the game alive for a long time. It's the reason I'm playing it now, where I have it on my computer. There's just so much variety and quality there that even when I thought about how many I'm gonna do, I just pick a few handful, and it's really hard to pick those few handful because there are so many good ones that you're never gonna go through or play or even mention, and it's I could have easily not. I'll probably play like 3 or 4 custom campaigns, very likely around that much, and I could easily just throw all those away and find an equal number or double that number of just as good campaigns to replace them, no problem. So it's just, if you really want to, if you have a lot of time and you genuinely like the basic system of the game, that's a great way to throw away your time in just going through some of the campaigns. And they're not minor campaigns. Some of them are, but I think at least one of them that I've included, and there's a reason why I'm only including one of the larger campaigns, is that it is pretty much as far as how large it is. It's like the original game and Hordes of Underdark combined, at least. So it's you can find good quality campaigns that a lot of effort have been put into, and they're not just something that you play. They're not expansion size. They can be massive. I mean, a huge amount of work has been gone into them because the game, at least, I'm not sure if there's too much development on it now, but for years and years and years, people poured a lot of effort into it. So it shows. And even I'm wondering if when I play them today, do they hold up? I'm hoping they'll do. I played at least 2 custom campaigns now, and I wasn't exactly disappointed with them, especially compared to these. So I'm hoping that the rest that I still haven't played through will also hold up.